There you have it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Badge. This is our April 4th episode, but we're here to share the stories from the System Daily Huddle from this past February. These are stories that every single day were shared on our System Daily Huddle. So I want to thank you all for joining. I know many of you are new audience members, and many of you are longtime fans. This is our Season 4, Episode 2, already our 38th episode of Beyond the Badge. Wild. But every single one is unique as we meet unique employees and teams and faculty members from across our Mount Sinai Health System of 48,000 employees. So we will always have new, fresh, interesting stories to share with you. So thank you all. I love to see the hellos and happy Fridays in the chat already. Get engaged, keep sharing. I absolutely love it. But let me give for our new audience members a little overview of what Beyond the Badge is all about. As I mentioned, these come from the System Daily Huddle. So every single day, our most senior leadership across our entire health system, all our hospitals, our ambulatory practices and facilities, some major service lines like radiology and support services and pharmacy, they come together for a huddle to make sure that every single day we're set to have a safe, high quality, exceptional day here at Mount Sinai. But they take a pause during this very important operations huddle. They take a pause where one leader knows it's their turn in a rotation. They say, it's my day. I get to share an employee story that I feel so proud to share with my leadership colleagues, that this represents who we are at Mount Sinai, what makes our facility, our department, our hospital a special place. This is an excellent example of that, and they share with such pride these employee stories, these team stories. Sometimes they're from patient letters, sometimes they're from star recognition. That's our peer-to-peer appreciation platform. Sometimes they're these one-time moments where they say, this just happened last week and I've got to share this because it was such an incredible response by this employee or this team. And sometimes it's to spotlight really incredible work that's happening by an individual or by a group or on a project across our health system. These are really stories that fill these leaders with pride. And if you're wondering who's our regular audience members out there, it's these leaders coming back to now hear those stories again and meet the people behind the stories. And that's why we created Beyond the Badge. We collect those stories thanks to our partners, Swati Garg, Joseph Mary, Hillary Pauly, who lead those huddles and coordinate the huddles. They get them all, they ship them over to us and our team on the Spotlight Committee, and we get to put this up for you. So for our new members, I think there's usually a lot of family members and friends and colleagues. Thank you for joining this episode. And for our longtime fans, welcome back. You're going to love today's collection of stories from February of this year. With that, I do want to introduce who else is involved in Beyond the Badge. You're going to see our stories read by our committee members, our Spotlight Committee. These are the folks who around our system are so dedicated and committed to the employee experience, to the patient experience, really to the human experience, what people experience here across Mount Sinai. So they are so active in this work, and they're going to proudly be reading the stories today. And of course, to my colleagues on our Spotlight Committee who run the backstage show, Alyssa Gianandrea, Michael Joseph, and Jessica Rubin backstage, coordinating this excited group of honorees that we have back there. And a couple more people I want to recognize and thank for being here and give a chance to say hello is our senior leadership. Again, our audience, and thank you. It's a building audience out there, a nice big one for a smaller group of February stories. It's just filled with leadership. Use the chat. Comment on what you love, support, use those emotions. I love it. Make those flutter up over my screen. Set that chat to everyone and comment. But I always love to start by bringing on a couple of the leaders who I know are in the room. We're proudly here to welcome us and start there before we jump into these stories. So first off, and I got a couple who are in some new exciting roles here across Mount Sinai Health System. Let's bring up Dr. Evan Flato first. And if you've seen the news, Dr. Flato is our new Dean for Clinical Affairs in the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, and our Executive Vice President for Clinical Affairs for the Mount Sinai Health System, and a longtime fan of Beyond the Badge, Dr. Flato. Thank you so much for being here. I'd love to give you a chance to say hello to our honorees and our audience.
Steve, it's a pleasure to be here. I can't seem to retire, so I've got yet another job. I'm working now in the medical school and on behalf of clinical leadership for Dr. Carr. And One Mount Sinai, as Dr. Carr has envisioned, what could be more One Mount Sinai than the morning huddle, which is literally every leader, an outpatient, inpatient, every hospital, every site,
Mhm.
where we all get together for, briefly in the morning. And it's so important. I think the STAR program is great, peer-to-peer recognition, but sometimes acts of bravery, compassion, commitment, rise are so impressive that leaders feel obligated to make special mention about them. And we all hear the stories. And I think it's inspirational for all of us. It reminds us in tough times, when you're worried about government payments, when you're worried about politics, state approvals, to remember what we're here for, taking care of the vulnerable, the sick, taking care of each other. And not only is it important to take care of each other in terms of how we relate to each other, but to celebrate each other, especially when these very special events rise above the everyday. So I'm excited. I'm sure I'll be hearing again stories I've heard before, but they'll be even better the second time. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much. Excellent points on this being a One Mount Sinai huddle and this event being One Mount Sinai, welcoming people. Thank you in our audience from all across our health system. And on that theme of One Mount Sinai, another leader who's been a leader in emergency medicine is taking on a One Mount Sinai role. I'd love to welcome Dr. Nicholas Gavin. He's a vice president and chief clinical innovation officer, an associate chief medical information officer for the health system, and very involved in this One Mount Sinai work. So, Dr. Gavin, I'd love to give a chance for you to say hello to our audience.
So thanks, Steve, and thanks to the whole patient experience team for the opportunity to present. I'm Nick Gavin. I'm an ER doc, and I'm our inaugural Chief Clinical Innovation Officer as of 3 days ago. What does that mean? I'm working with Dr. Carr to bring really your ideas to life about how we can transform care at the institution. So I want to hear from you. Please email me. Find me on Teams, nicholas.gavin@mountsinai.org. I want to hear the ways you think we can be doing better. And I know that all of the good ideas only start on the front line. But that's my new role. I really want to pivot to you all and why we're here. And that's to celebrate some 15 of our heroes and our colleagues. And first, as a leader, I just want to say how important it is. And Dr. Flato touched on this. When I was a medical director, I thought it was so important when patients gave positive comments to make sure that feedback is getting back to the person that patient is commenting on and celebrating. And I think what this is about is celebrating each other. So I was in the ER Wednesday evening. It's like 1 a.m. And one of my colleagues, Maria, one of the nurses in the Mount Sinai Hospital emergency department, she and I had a patient come in who was just super anxious, and she was in the kind of dire straits. She had valve failure and had landed at Mount Sinai Hospital, which is one of the best places in the world if you have a valve problem. And I just saw Maria taking extra time with this patient to make sure she felt comfortable, to understand that she was in the right place. And it just went a long way in terms of providing a great experience. And at the end of the shift, I just made sure that I said thank you to her. And I recognized, like, I saw what you did there. And I think we have to do that for each other. We are all servant leaders and trying to take care of the patients that are in front of us. And we give so much of ourselves. And when we recognize that, we really should be calling it out in each other and celebrating it in any forum that we've got. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and excited to hear the stories.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Gavin. And thank you for role modeling that. You see something and you speak up and share that positive news and express what you saw that lives up to our values and what we're about. And everyone can do that. We have our resources tab here on Zoom, which is a great option here on webinars. Is go to that resources tab. You can see some quick photos and images of everyone, see our program in the resources tab, but there's also a link to STAR. So you have to be on site and you got to be an employee to access it. If you're a family member or guest, you can't do that. But everyone who's an employee here can use that STAR program to comment on exactly what Dr. Gavin's saying. You saw something and you said, I got to say how much I thought that that little moment was special and important, and I want to comment on it. Those are my favorite stars to see when someone pinpoints something little that was done that you saw and noticed and were inspired by, and you say it out loud. So please use star for doing that, and it may lead to someone being here on Beyond the Badge. You never know. We got a lot of stars that come our way. With that, I want to jump into our stories. Now, this is a running health system, so sometimes our honorees are in and out with patients, and we jump around in our agenda in our program. So stick with us, and everyone's going to be agility of value of Mount Sinai here throughout this episode. So bear with us as we move on. But let's jump into the stories, and we always start with our teams. So let's go out first to Mount Sinai South Nassau. I know my colleague Olivia McGregor is standing by with a team out there. Yeah, all right. Keep clapping. We can't hear the claps while you go. Zoom knocks out claps. But we're glad to see you all there. And Olivia, why don't we start off by sharing this Mount Sinai South Nassau story?
You got it, Steve. Thank you so much. I'm so pleased to share the story today from Mount Sinai South Nassau. Communication Services Representative Sarana Joseph recently received a call from a patient in distress who stated she had intentions of harming herself. Sarana listened to the caller, spoke with her, and obtained her contact information, which was crucial in ensuring the caller's safety. Sarana then shared the information with the nursing supervisors on duty, Trisha Martorella and Diana Pena, who worked together to speak with this patient and the police to identify where she was. From there, the team was able to have the patient come to our emergency department, where she was greeted by the nursing supervisor team, security officer James Kassenbaum, and ED nurse manager Kevin Ramdas. Kevin had his team, which included nurses Erin Calabrese, Gladys Lamagna, and PCT Debbie Hendrickson, ready to provide safety, care, and support for this patient. The patient expressed her immense appreciation for this team and how thankful she was that there was someone to listen to her. We are so grateful for the quick and compassionate efforts of this team, which ultimately provided life-saving support to this patient.
Yeah, thank you so much, Olivia. And let's see the faces there. You're looking up at screen, which feels natural, but we're behind you. Can't look up at the camera and say hi to us back here. There we go. There's our team. And it looks like you probably have some of your leadership in the room there too, proudly cheering you on. Really an exceptional team effort in this story. And we love these team stories. Teamwork is one of our Mount Sinai values, and you all came at the ready to support each other to support this patient. So clearly, I'm sure this group works together well on a regular basis. Would someone from the group come on up to the podium and talk to us for a bit? I'd love to hear more about this specific experience and how did this group align in how you'd support and care for the patient in a crisis? How did the team really make this a success?
So, I mean, I have to applaud Sarana Joseph, number one, because she took it to another level, getting in touch with the administrative team. Diana and myself and Kevin all worked collaboratively together to get in touch with this patient. She hung up the phone, so luckily Sarana was able to get her phone number, and Diana was calling her while I was calling the police to get them involved. She was in a park trying to harm herself, and it was very emotional for all of us. So for her to listen to Diana and get back into the car, and we had the police on high alert to get her to follow the directions of Diana to come into the emergency room, it was just immensely crazy. Again, if it wasn't for Sarana bringing it to the level that we were, it would have just fallen, and we don't know what would happen. She came into the emergency room and she was hysterical crying. She really needed the attention of our psychiatry team. And thanks to the nurses and the PCTs in the emergency room, she just got that. She was here for a couple of days, and that pretty much is the story.
Wow. Thank you for those additional details. Really emotional, really paints a picture of just how serious a moment this was. Yes, we join you in the applause, and you see, if you can't see the chat from where you are, but just everyone talking about the teamwork, people saying how proud they are of the members that they see here. So go back to the chat after we take you off screen and you can see some of these wonderful comments. But thank you for painting that picture. Such emotional and important work to help save a life as a team. Wow, thank you so much, Mount Sinai South Nassau. A big round of applause for our first Beyond the Badge story of the day, an exceptional one for sure. Enjoy the rest of the episode, and we're going to go to our other team that we're recognizing here today. It was out at Mount Sinai West. We had a physician team that was being recognized. It included Doctors Stephanie Bernard, Dr. Jennifer Bragg, Marjorie Joseph, Carolyn Mazzarelli, Amanda Orley, and Rachel Reed. They're physicians in our pediatrics and NICU. This was a patient letter that was submitted, so we're going to bring some of those physicians who are here on up and let Andres from our West Morningside team share this story.
Thank you, Steve, and I'm so excited to share this story today. So a patient wrote, "We wanted to let you know how incredibly grateful we are for the care that our newborn son received from the pediatrics and NICU team at Mount Sinai West. Your team is truly exceptional, and we feel so lucky that they were there to take care of our son. After a very scary beginning, our son is home now, breathing and eating like a champ, and just passed his first pediatrician visit with flying colors. We are so incredibly grateful and thankful to Dr. Orley and Dr. Bragg, who resuscitated him in the operating room, and Dr. Bernard, Dr. Reed, Dr. Massarelli, and Dr. Joseph, who all took incredible care of him and us in the NICU, along with the exceptional team of nurses. We appreciate the compassionate care and thoughtful communication that we received throughout his entire stay during what was a very scary time. Congratulations, all."
Well, yeah, thank you, Andres. And for a parent, this is an image they'll never forget, but this is your lives every day caring for these such vulnerable newborns in pediatrics and in the NICU. So exceptional. I believe we have Dr. Mazzarelli who's prepared to speak on behalf of this team of physicians here. And I'm wondering, while caring for our youngest patients, how do you also focus on providing that exceptional and compassionate care to the parents and the families, because they specifically talked about appreciating the compassionate care and the thoughtful communication that they received as parents?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for recognizing our team, and it's a great question. I think it brings up a lot of the ways that pediatrics is sort of unique in medicine, and especially even neonatology. Our patients are so young and so vulnerable that really their parents become our patients too. And so instead of having a single patient, we're really taking care of an entire family. And so we're really lucky to work in a unit that recognizes that. Our unit really focuses on the entire family. So we do things like bedside rounds and involve parents every day in a lot of the medical decision making and keeping them informed about their baby. And then really our nurses and therapists and pharmacists, lactation consultants, everyone else involved provides an amazing example for us, even as the medical team as well, to really focus on families and keep them as involved as possible in approaching patients and families. And so caring for new parents is really a huge part of our job. It's part of why a lot of us went into neonatology, because we love working with parents too, and is what makes our job so special. So thanks.
Oh, really well said, and thank you so much. And it is at the heart of what I'm sure was touching Andres as well, with working with patients and families and all of the advisory councils you have with families, and it being human experience, not just the patient experience. And to bring in the parents in such an authentic and important way is really wonderful to hear. So thank you to this entire team, and thank you, Dr. Mazzarelli, for speaking on behalf of the group. One of, I'm sure, daily incredible stories of the work you're doing out there at Mount Sinai West. Thank you so much. And Andres, we're going to keep you right here. We're going to move into our next set of stories, and we have our EMS team. If they're here and ready to go, we're going into our appreciation by patients category. And this had our EMS folks, Orlando Suarez and Ryan Young for Mount Sinai West and Morningside. This was recognition that came from our command center team. So for the health system, the command center recognized and shared this story. So here's Orlando, and here's Ryan, and Andres, take it away.
Wonderful. So, a New York State volunteer social worker wrote to recognize the high level of professionalism displayed by EMS first responders Orlando and Ryan as they cared for an elderly woman having a medical emergency. Orlando and Ryan arrived on the scene quickly, and their expert attention to this woman's medical needs was even quicker. Inside their ambulance, this EMS team was professional through and through. They checked, they assessed, they measured, and most important of all, they made sure she was comfortable and at ease in what was for her a very scary situation. When the ambulance arrived at the Mount Sinai Morningside emergency room, your paramedics made sure their patient transitioned smoothly to ER personnel. I realize the job of being a paramedic is demanding, but your EMS professionals do their difficult jobs with confidence, strength, and compassion. As a result, they make New York City safer for everyone. I hope you will let Orlando and Ryan know how much their excellent work is appreciated.
Well, we did. Your leader stepped up at the command center and shared this story, and now we get to share it again. And Orlando and Ryan, you were highlighted specifically. The attributes I heard were your speed, your professionalism, your confidence, and your compassion. What are the attributes that you take pride in bringing into how you care for your patients? Hopefully, those resonate with you. That's what the patients are seeing, and the social worker saw. But what do you say? This is what I aim to bring into the work I do every day with helping patients.
For me, I've been in EMS for 25 years, and it's always been a job I've enjoyed doing, bringing compassion and understanding, to folks who are the most vulnerable and in need. And I credit, what I do and my expertise to having been trained by some of the best EMTs and paramedics that Mount Sinai has. And obviously, I had a great partner that day. Ryan is a fantastic paramedic. He's been doing it a long time, and he's a wonderful partner. And, together we were able to help this woman and put her at ease and make her feel better and give her a very good experience here with Mount Sinai.
Yeah, thank you. Ryan, would you like to add? How about you?
Well, I'd like to thank Orlando for those kind words. I'll pay you later. Um, just like he said, basically what he said, just treating people with care. We don't really get recognized all the time, and I truly appreciate this organization for acknowledging us. It's a big deal, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. This is similar to the last story. You do this every day. How many patients do you see every single day through your work? And it's really nice, I think, sometimes to hear someone speak up. In this case, not even a patient or a family, just a social worker in the neighborhood who recognize like this is what excellence looks like in this role. And I've got to share this letter and I've got to express it. And I hope it feels nice to get that feedback. And I hope you understand that others see it too. Not everyone takes the time to write a letter, but if you're getting it in this way from this person, I'm sure everyone is thinking it. And it's so nice that they took the time to write it. And we're glad we got to share it with our audience today. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, get back out there, save some lives. But first, stick around for some more stories. Andres, we're going to come back to you in a little while. We're holding off for a next story. Our Shaliza Narian, you see, is next. She's not here just yet. Maybe with some patience. We're going to come back to that if we can. One who I know couldn't make it was the last second we heard Emmanuel Sebastian isn't going to be able to be here. I'm going to go to Colette for our next story in a moment, but I do want to share about Emmanuel. I think it's a great story. We didn't get it into our program because we thought he was going to make it, but this was is a nurse, and Emmanuel demonstrated remarkable attentiveness by inquiring if a patient had a tendency to faint with needles. And I thought this was a really specific and interesting story of asking and understanding, and then upon learning that the patient did have this tendency, Emmanuel promptly arranged for the patient to be moved to a waiting area with beds, ensuring they could lie down for the IV placement. And then there didn't stop there. They also had a colleague bring the patient a warm blanket and raise their feet slightly to prevent any wooziness. And really just wanted to share that this gentle approach helped have a successful IV placement on the first try, which was a huge relief to this patient who does faint regularly, was very anxious about it. And these are the things we're talking about. These are the little things where someone sought to understand, asked when they picked up on some, bodily cues in their body language, and then did everything possible to show empathy and handle that patient. So even though we're sorry Emmanuel couldn't make it here today, I did want to share a quick blurb about that. But let's go to Colette Watson. We're going to go into our stories of excellence section. These are these, one-time moments that something was shared. And actually, this isn't a one-time for a security officer, Hansel Guzman from Mount Sinai Hospital. There's actually two moments within this story. So let's bring in officer. Oh, we got your manager's link in there, Joshua Rochard, but this is Hansel Guzman. Hey, Hansel. And let's go to Colette for the story.
Great. Thank you, Stephen. Congratulations to Hansel. So our story goes, with 18 years of committed service, Security Officer Hansel Guzman has consistently demonstrated what it means to prioritize safety and security within our organization. Recently, an emergency room clinical nurse wrote to share, quote, "This morning, security was fantastic in responding to a psychiatric patient. Officer Hansel Guzman was calm and was using de-escalation techniques with a very difficult manic patient that was continuously working himself up. The patient was immediately cleared by our MD and accepted in psych. Officer Guzman completed the search and escort and kept everyone safe, including the patient." End quote. In another incident, Officer Guzman, who was off duty at the time, witnessed a walker unattended near the Hess building and discovered a patient on the ground near the curb. Officer Guzman immediately called 911 for medical assistance and provided support to the patient until the EMT arrived. Thank you, Officer Guzman. Your vigilance, professionalism, and unwavering dedication have played a critical role in creating a safe environment for us all.
Yeah, double duty. One's on duty and one's off duty, coming to the rescue and recognized by a colleague. So, Officer Guzman, I'm curious how these are single stories. How are these examples of the personal commitment to creating and maintaining a safe environment for patients, guests, and staff you arrive every single day at Mount Sinai Hospital to do?
Oh, how you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
How you doing? Thank you for all of this for everybody. We train to do this, and also you're an everyday hero. It's like a manager, everyday hero. Yeah. He's our hero.
I recognize that voice. Josh, you got to lean in a little bit. You're a proud supervisor, so we can see you.
How are you, Steve?
We're great. Josh Richard, also a former Beyond the Badge celebrant. Once, you're always.
Hi, everyone.
All right, but Hansel, we want to hear from you, Officer Guzman. What is something that you've been doing this role at Mount Sinai Hospital for a while now? What brings you great pride in the work that you do in caring for others?
Great pride is helping everybody in need. Anybody coming in, I'm always willing to help on and off the job, and I'm proud of doing it every day. And especially with psychiatric patients, that's what I usually work more. Yes, I'm in the emergency room. We see that every day, so that's kind of difficult. But we train to do it really good.
Well, I love to hear that your passion is for the difficult, roles.
Yes,
more difficult
Mhm.
to help these patients and secure their safety, but that's what you love to do, to
Yes.
be the one that can step in and be trained in it, as you said, and have the confidence to say, like, I can help,
Yeah.
these difficult situations. So that's great to hear that you take pride and you tackle those more challenging scenarios with intent.
Right.
Really wonderful. Thank you, Officer Guzman. Thank you, Officer Richard. Great to see you both. All right, thank you. Colette, we are going to come back to you if we can. I think Ada Vanderlinder, we got, again, word just this morning that something has come up and she's not able to join us, but I do want to give a shout out to Ada. She was a patient care associate who demonstrated exceptional skill in helping to manage a tense situation with a very agitated patient. And her calm demeanor and compassionate communication were key in de-escalating the situation, allowing her to effectively calm the patient down. And this is another example. We get a lot of stories like this coming on the huddle being shared and then coming to Beyond the Badge. Officer Guzman was sharing it. This is our verbal de-escalation. And we offer CPI programming right through talent development and learning. And we love to see stories like this that show that training is making a difference. People able to safely handle these potentially dangerous situations with confidence and with skill. So if you're interested in, I've got my blue card, Crisis Prevention Institute training card for verbal de-escalation. We offer those every single month regularly. So come and join us in talent development and learning if you're interested. But thank you for that. Colette, I think we're coming back to you in a little while for a story. But let's go out to Brooklyn next. We have a nurse, Keisha Semmelfort, here. Who's just come off 3 straight overnights and is here to join us throughout here. We're going to bring Katrina Bravo on up to share this story from Brooklyn. And hi, Keisha.
Hi.
All right, Katrina.
Congratulations to everyone recognized so far. Happy to present our registered nurse, Keisha Semmelfort, who demonstrated sharp attention to detail in identifying a critical gap in the medication system. During a shift while supervising a nurse on orientation, both Keisha and the orientee medicated a patient within minutes with the same pain medication. The error was identified quickly, and once the patient was felt to be safe, Keisha put the occurrence into safety net. She also turned it into an opportunity to reinforce safety net and just culture protocols with the new nurse, along with the value of reporting such events. During the subsequent safety event review process, it came to light that standard tools in Epic and Pyxis don't prevent such double dosing for PRN medications. By being forthcoming with this event, using safety net and participating in the review process that has surfaced a solution to this problem, Keisha has made a significant contribution to patient safety. Thank you, Keisha, for your commitment to safety and for mentoring our next generation of nurses. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Katrina. Keisha, so much great points in this story. First, the commitment to safety, one of our always our first value. But then in a learning department like that I work in talent development and learning, to hear that you took this opportunity to teach. Say, look, these, it's happened and let's learn from it. That is the most important thing that can be done in these scenarios. And took this new orientee on and used it as a learning experience and talked about other important topics we discussed, like just culture and what that looks like to teach. So really wonderful elements to this story. And I'd love to hear from you to tell us a little bit more about how you took this unfortunate event and were able to intentionally turn it into this opportunity to improve patient safety at its core, that being most important.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say I really appreciate you guys recognizing this. I was very touched when I was told that the story was going to be recognized and beyond the badge. When it occurred, like I really do like teaching the next generation. And I don't want people to be afraid to admit like that you made a mistake. Because we work in healthcare where if you make a mistake, it could really harm someone. So hiding it because maybe you're afraid you're going to be reprimanded or, you might lose your job or something like that, it really won't benefit the patient. So I'm very happy that in what we did, we got the response. And then she was reassured also that it's always best to be honest about any error and try to reach out to the doctor as soon as possible and try to take whatever measures you can to correct it. But it was a good learning experience actually for the both of us. Because I said, this can't happen again. It can't happen again. So even for myself, because Epic doesn't, if it's a regular scheduled medication, it will tell you like you're taking it out too soon, but not the PRN medication. So I said to her and my other colleagues on the unit, when you're going to pull a PRN medicine, because you do see the date and time that it was last given when you're getting it from Epic, that we should just pay attention to that always. That way, an error like that won't be made. Because if you're looking at it, when you're pulling it, you'll say, oh, wait a minute, this person gave that medication already like 2 hours ago or 1 hour ago. Maybe you're covering for another nurse who's on break and, their patient is in pain. So it was a good learning moment for the both of us.
Yeah, Keisha, I mean, I can hear, I can't see them. I can hear our leaders applauding this work. Safety is absolutely the most important. It is our value we always list first. When we do our Your Voice Count surveys, our employee engagement surveys, what does everyone talk about? Safety being the most important. Our employees, your colleagues all know safety is important, but it's one thing to say, this is how we handle errors or mistakes. And it's another thing to role model that just culture and that learning experience from that. And, that creates the culture where people do speak up and they are honest, because that's what we need to have the safest experience for our patients. So thank you for role modeling it and demonstrating it and committing to that in your work with orientees.
Thank you.
Really exceptional. All right, get some rest before your next overnight. I know you're coming.
I know. I go back tonight.
You're back tonight. Right. Thank you for what you do.
You.
All right,
Okay.
and thank
Bye,
you, Katrina.
guys.
and everyone out at Mount Sinai, Brooklyn. I got word that Shaliza did make it here. If Amy Nelson is ready, I'd love to go back to Shaliza Narian. All right, excellent. Here, we're going to go back to that story. That was in our previous section here from patients. So this was a patient that wrote out from the Mount Sinai Hospital faculty practice. Recognize this story. And Amy, I'm going to pass it to you.
Thank you, Steve. When a patient with ongoing severe migraines had been having scheduling and availability issues to see a provider in neurology, medical assistant team lead Shaliza Narian was part of the team that stayed late to ensure this patient was seen. The patient emailed and stated, Shaliza was extremely kind, gentle, and extra thoughtful. Her care made the process manageable in a way I rarely experience with healthcare. The supervisor added, Shaliza is such an integral part of the neurology team. She gives 110% every single day and consistently goes above and beyond. Shaliza is always willing to lend a helping hand, even when her two hands are full. We are extremely grateful to have her as a member of our team to provide such an amazing support and care, patient care. Thank you, Shaliza.
Yeah, thank you, Amy and Shaliza. We're glad you're able to join us. And, I love the line in here that says that your care made the process manageable. This is a person who's suffering from literal and logistical headaches at the same time, but you showed empathy and your care helped them through the process. So what would you say is that extra level of care that they were speaking about, that extra level of care you bring to the patients you see in neurology?
So I would say the extra level of care that I provide to my patients is making it a priority to ensure that they feel truly heard and supported. My goal is to go beyond providing medical care, also strive to offer reassurance, guidance, trust to every patient that walks through the door. I want all of my patients to feel confident, empowered throughout their health journey.
Wow, Shaliza, love it. I want to hear it again in writing and make sure I capture all of that because you listed so many great details, but from the start, it goes with the intent of saying, I want them to feel truly heard, not just showing I'm listening, but really helping them feel heard, feel seen, to build that trust, to build that confidence, and help them through that process. That's what I'm really grasping onto, and just love it. Dr. Gavin in the chat. I love the empowered piece of that, Shaliza. So that's our leadership right there, commenting on what you said that's so special.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm glad this patient took the time to write and share their appreciation for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Amy. Let's see, we were going into our spotlight section, I believe, next. So I'm going to have Andres come back, I think, for the next two. We had one at West Ambulatory and one at Morningside Ambulatory for the next two. Let's start with Yesenia Arias. This is our spotlight section. This is highlighting some of the excellent work that's happening around our system. And out at Mount Sinai West Ambulatory, we have Yesenia's story.
Perfect. So Yesenia is an amazing medical assistant and nephrology dialysis coordinator at our Mount Sinai West Department of Medicine practice. Yesenia's dedication to patient care is consistently recognized and appreciated, with patients frequently commending her outstanding service, both during their office encounters and in subsequent follow-up interactions. They express gratitude for her ability to put their minds at ease, highlighting her professionalism, genuineness, and kindness, especially during times of anxiety surrounding their dialysis appointments. Her manager shared, Yesenia consistently demonstrates a positive attitude and an unwavering commitment to her patients. She goes above and beyond, recognizing their anxieties and providing the extra support they need. Yesenia thoughtfully guides them through the dialysis process and consistently follows up, alleviating stress and ensuring they feel supported every step of the way. Thank you so much, Yesenia.
Yeah, thank you, Andres. And Yesenia, this story focused on your consistent ability to alleviate the anxieties of your patients. And I wonder if you can tell us a little bit more about your patients and the anxieties they often feel and how you do it. How do you support and comfort them through that experience?
So absolutely, many of our patients experience anxiety around their regular checkups during and before and after dialysis appointments, often due to the unknown of the process, the potential for discomfort, or concerns about their health. I make it a priority to actively listen to their fears and reassure them that they are in good hands. I truly believe in treating every patient the way I would want my own family to be treated, gently, with care and respect. I explain the process clearly, step by step, so they know what to expect. I'm always there to offer support and reassurance, making sure they feel safe and comfortable throughout. It's important to me that they feel cared for and not alone in their journey.
Oh, wow. What a nice ending line there too. Not feeling alone in their journey, knowing that they have these anxieties and their concerns, and you laid them out. You clearly understand what your patients are coming in, and you identify these three different categories of where their
Yes.
stress and their anxiety might be coming from. But even though you know that, being in this role for long enough to understand that, you made the point of saying you're listening to the individual. You're actively listening to them.
Correct.
Let them express it, show you understand it, help them navigate through the experience and communicate each step of that, to give them that confidence and let them know ultimately emotionally that they're not alone. If I've captured a bit of that, I love it. You really
Thank
laid that
you.
out very nicely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful story and wonderful response. We really appreciate you, Yesenia.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to stick with you, Andres. We have another ambulatory story, this time from Morningside Ambulatory Leadership, recognized Adrian Jordan. And we're going to go, hey, Adrian, then we're going to go to this story next.
Wonderful.
Hey.
Hey, Adrian. So on January 4th, the Mount Sinai Morningside Urgent Care Center was overwhelmed with patients, leading to significantly long wait times. Despite the delays, patients remained remarkably understanding, largely due to the exceptional care provided by medical assistant team lead Adrian Jordan. Working tirelessly at the front desk and assisting the exam rooms, Adrian went above and beyond her assigned duties. She proactively engaged with patients in the waiting room, keeping them informed, addressing their concerns, and ensuring their comfort. Her dedication and compassion were so impactful that a Delta Airlines customer service agent who was a patient that day felt compelled to contact the medical director to commend Adrian's outstanding her service. Her manager adds, Adrian's situational awareness is truly impressive. I frequently observe her offering water to waiting patients and patients addressing their wait time inquiries, always maintaining a positive and helpful demeanor. Adrian is an invaluable asset to our team, consistently demonstrating an outstanding work ethic and a genuine commitment to patient care. Congratulations, Adrian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andres. I just love a story like this when we talk about excellent service. And, it's hard to provide that excellent service in the easiest of moments and interactions. And here you've got a day that was a little extra. It was hard. It was busy. There were long wait times. Yet you found a way to make this positive experience to the point where an airlines, and they deal with angry customers, that customer service educator is raving about, like, yes, you are exceptional. Now don't go to Delta. Stay with us. Keep giving the great service. But Adrian, I'd love to hear you speak to that. What is the mindset or approach that helps you ensure patients feel seen and cared for in the urgent care center, especially on a busy, harder day like this?
So what really motivates me, I treat people the way that I want to be treated at the end of the day. And that particular day, I wanted to feel I felt how the patients felt. The room was so full of people and they were so anxious and they were all sick, and it was a long wait time. So I feel as long as you communicate with the patients and let them know step by step everything that's going on and everything that's going to take place, it will ease them. They really appreciate it because I could tell because every time I said something like as far as how long the wait is or when they're going to be next to be called in the room, they were all appreciative. And that pushed me to communicate with them, as far as what was taking place that particular day. So I just, you just have to communicate and just have empathy for people and just basically, step in their shoes, I'm a patient, so I know how I want to be treated when I come into a facility with a bunch of people that's sick. So, you just have to just be patient with patients
Yeah.
and just be nice, and just provide empathy and everybody will have a good day.
Empathy, absolutely, is
Empathy.
what I'm here. I've got 'em
Yes.
ready for you with my empathy
Mm-hmm.
sign. Beautiful. And first by saying, like, what would I feel like? What would the information I would want? What would I want communicated? And that's not
Yes.
easy. to go
Yeah,
up and
it's
say, like,
not.
I'm going to put myself in the spot where I'm going to give more bad news that there's along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you'd want to know that. And you see how they
Exactly.
appreciate that you let them know, even though it wasn't the best news, that you're keeping that communication line open, that you're empathizing with
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and that makes a difference.
It makes a big difference, definitely. Thank you so much for this, for honoring me. I did not expect this because I love what I do and I don't expect to get honored, but thank you so much.
Well, it shows that you love what you do, and we love what you do, and we're so happy we got to share this, and we're so happy we got to hear from you. Look at the hearts.
Thank
There's so many
you.
hearts
Thank
flattering
you.
up for you.
Appreciate y'all.
We
Thank you,
appreciate you,
Tina.
Andrew. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Steven. You too. Thank you,
All right,
everybody.
and thank you, Andres. We're going to move on to our next story in this section. This was Mount Sinai Health System supply chain leadership recognized Eric Hawkins. I'm going to have one of my corporate colleagues from marketing and communications, Kathy Gilbert, come on up and share this story. Hey, Kathy, and hi, Eric.
Hello.
You're on mute, Kathy.
Thank you, Steve. And let me get back to the story as I kind of wipe away a tear from that last one.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric Hawkins. As a data analyst, Eric Hawkins is a key member of our supply chain team whose contributions are nothing short of extraordinary. His meticulous attention to detail and a proactive approach have been instrumental in ensuring the success of many projects like price accuracy of more than 98%. Prime vendor conversion, maintaining pricing contracts, and implementing the Oracle Cloud ERP system. What sets Eric apart is his commitment to excellence. He often goes above and beyond his regular duties, working extensively to troubleshoot issues before they escalate. His proactive measures have significantly minimized disruptions, allowing our organization to operate efficiently. Thank you, Eric, for your exceptional efforts in assisting a countless number of our healthcare workforce every day.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. I love the proactive approach. I love that they're noting you're going beyond, like beyond the badge, in your duties here. And I even see some of your leadership team out there, Franco, cheering you on in the chat. You know, your leadership, out there in supply chain is saying it's your commitment to excellence that sets you apart in the work that you do. That really elevates everything here in our system. So, how would you describe that commitment that you make to excellence in your everyday work here at Mount Sinai?
Well, first off, I wanted to thank everybody that's, obviously said like Franco and Alex were in the chat. So thank you very much. For me, commitment to excellence means taking pride in the details. We work with data, so details are very important. Even though my role, like you said, isn't patient facing, I understand that my work has a real impact on keeping operations running smoothly. As a member of the supply chain data team, ensure that the hospital inventory is accurately stored in our ERP systems, including that. So that means like pricing, vendor and manufacturer details, and then item descriptions. With the transition from our old ERPs to the new Oracle Cloud, our team had to learn new processes to maintain data accuracy. In doing so, we also identified ways to proactively spot potential issues before they became issues. By seeing what happened before. So I guess all in all, when the information in the Oracle is accurate, then it streamlines workflows for myself, my team, and then the healthcare workers who all rely on us. And I mean, it lets them focus on what truly matters, which is the patient care. So.
I love that, Eric. And there's something we talk about in our new hire orientation and our new beginnings program. Like everyone is here because of our patients, and to be able to take your role that you said is not patient facing, to recognize that it impacts our patients. And where is that in the process? That my role is here to support our caregivers who support our patients and care for our patients, and be able to put that focus, I'm guessing, is probably what drives you to be proactive instead of reactive. Saying, I don't want to be fixing errors. I want to be proactive and make sure that we're at our best for our patients. And I just love that approach. I love that they highlighted that. And I want to say thank you to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the recognition.
Thank you, Eric. Really wonderful. And thank you to the supply chain team who shared this story on our huddle. We're so glad we got to share it with our Beyond the Badge audience here today. And we're going to go back to Colette Watson. Come on back, Colette. We're going to go to Dalia Rodriguez next. This was Mount Sinai Hospital Ambulatory Leadership. Recognize Dalia. Hello, welcome. And Colette, let's share this story.
Absolutely wonderful. The medical office assistant, Dalia Rodriguez, goes above and beyond to make her patients feel welcomed and comfortable before each lab draw at our Mount Sinai Hospital Collection Center. Dalia is very skilled at her craft. Her professionalism, diligence, and expertise make a significant difference on the patient experience, while her patience and compassion are skills that allow her to effortlessly ascension all patients who come to our lab. She always goes that extra mile to ensure patient safety, comfort, and satisfaction. There's a saying in IMA, when we can't, Dalia will. Her positive attitude and willingness to take on challenges inspires the team. Thank you, Dalia, for your unwavering dedication and hard work. Congrats, Dalia.
Yeah, Dalia, were you aware of that phrase being used about you around the unit? Really nice story. And I wanted to ask, for you to tell us in some more detail, what is it that you do that helps patients feel welcomed, safe, and comfortable as you perform their lab draws? That was what was highlighted here. What is it you do to provide that experience?
Yes, hi. Thank you. First, thank you for your invitation and the award. I've been doing this job for more than 18 years, and after I introduce myself to the patient, I identify that I always explain clearly and friendly whatever minute what's going to happen with the blood draw. I assure that it will be quick and guided through all the process because it's a needle stick. So nobody likes that, of course. Now, always answer any question with kindness, compassion, respect. I always like to be very friendly with them.
Well, Dalia, it makes a huge difference because you are absolutely right. And I'm in that category of not liking needle sticks. I am a wimp when it comes to that, let me tell you. But I know always it's the person who's doing the draw that makes the difference for me. So starting with your introduction, having a nice welcoming introduction of who you are and what you're going to do. I mean, if people are familiar with AIDA, acknowledge, introduce, give a duration, give an explanation, and a thank you. You're doing those steps, and that explanation, you're giving us some detail there. What to expect, how it's going to go, really being thoughtful of what the person is experiencing and doing that step by step is an excellent explanation. You could teach a class in that yourself. So thank you so much for sharing that insight and doing this hard job. People don't want to see you,
yes,
but they love to see you. How odd is that? The irony. They don't want to see you, but they love to see you.
They love to see you. Yes.
And 18 years, is that what you said? 18 years experience?
Yes.
Wow. Exceptional. Thank you for being such a part of our Mount Sinai Health System community for so long.
Thank you for your invitation.
Appreciate you, Dalia. And thank you, Colette. We've got one more story, but before we wrap up, I already told Dalia he's our big finale, so he's up next as our last story. There are a couple more in our program. If you haven't gone to our program yet, these are two who we knew in advance wouldn't be able to make it, so we captured the whole story and we shared it in writing. Somebody was off internationally on a vacation, and just gave away that information on their behalf. I won't tell you who, but they just couldn't make it today, and we've captured those stories. One of the ones you'll read about is Digital and Technology Partners. They recognize Zabiel Castillo, who embodies a spirit of service and has the ability to handle the most complex situations with grace and composure on our executive concierge team. So if you know Zabiel, or you want to read that story, this full story in full is in our event program. You can find in our resources tab or in the links in the chat. And one more, Charu Pogdal is in our Mount Sinai Hospital blood bank. She wasn't able to make it, was very honored and appreciated this moment. She was appreciated by an emergency medicine leader who assisted a resident by providing a very thorough and reassuring explanation of a complex blood typing scenario. They shared that this example demonstrates how Charu integrates the value of service into her actions and aligns them with our core organizational values. So a really nice story. You can read that story in full in our program. But now let's go to our finale. He's been waiting backstage for this moment. It's Yodel Menges from FPA Access Center. Sadika Horn is going to come up and read this story. This is our only one, which is odd. Sometimes it's all appreciation by colleagues. This is our only one this time that came from a colleague, from a star recognition, where an employee, like was shared by our leadership at the beginning, took the moment to say, I noticed this, I saw this, and I want to say thank you. So Sadika, let's hear this story about Yodel.
Hi, Steve, and congratulations to all the honorees today. And I am so excited to recognize Yodel. Yodel Mingus was praised by a colleague who submitted a star recognition that says, Yodel has a tremendous, admirable work ethic and an infectious positive attitude when it comes to helping us out. No matter what we ask of him, whether it's tech related, operational related, or just a simple favor, he is there for you. Reliable and dependable. He has helped me with great career advice and has provided valuable insight whenever I'm working on a project and need a fresh perspective. It has been and still is a true pleasure working with him for the past 7 years. We are very lucky to have him as a colleague. Thank you, Yodel, for all you do. And Steve, I did want to add that Yodel is celebrating a milestone anniversary here at Mount Sinai, 15 years.
15 years in 2025.
15
Excellent.
years. And I always tell everyone that every team needs a Yodel.
Well, they can't have him though, right? He's on yours. Every team needs a Yodel. And why is that? Because we're seeing it highlighted here. You know, you're giving someone who took the time to reach out and say, I've got to write up why I value this colleague of mine, and spoke to professionally how they rely and depend on you, personally how you help them with career advice, and collaboratively and how they can reach out to you when they need a fresh perspective on a project. So, you know, these are all just wonderful things this colleague of yours pointed out. And I'm hoping you know who it was. I don't have the name of who it was. But what stands out to you in this appreciation that aligns with where you'd say, like, yeah, that's how I hope my colleagues see me. That's the colleague I strive to be for this team.
Thank you for the invite, Steve, and thank you. Yes, I do know who the person is. So if she's on here, thank you, Cindy. So what stands out about this is more just the whole thing in itself, because I do strive to be just the person just to open for basically anything. It doesn't have to be just work related. It can be even personal related. It can be just a quick lending of an ear, or just sit there and just be there for whatever reason. We see our coworkers more than we do our families most of the time anyway. So why not just be there for them to just do whatever it is needed? Because whatever it is that you're more or less helping them in, you can probably also just learn more from your end as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Margaret just wrote best team member in the chat. And that's what I was thinking. Is like there's one thing to be a good colleague, and there's another thing to be a great team member. And you're speaking to that. You're saying, like, no, we're together in this. We're here a lot. We see each other every day. And how can I not just do the work, being a good colleague to support the team, but being a real person and a team member? And that's an emotional connection and support in the overall relationship. And I think you pinpointed it. And that's why your team clearly loves you. Look at these goes in the chat too. They're here to support you. I'm glad they showed up to cheer you on. And I want to thank you for what you're doing for 15 years out here for Mount Sinai.
Thank you. Right back.
All right. Thank you, Yodel. Thank you, Sadika. Really wonderful story. Keep those stars coming. These are the moments that all of you can do every day. As we're wrapping up and finishing this second episode of our 4th year, so many of these come from star recognitions. And I hope that these episodes are cues for you to say, you know, who do I have to thank? And the next time I see someone do even something small, that I see it and I say, wow, I'm really inspired by that. Like, that person really showed great empathy there, or really showed the commitment to safety, or really demonstrated what teamwork looks like at Mount Sinai. You can go right into that star platform and write it up in a short message, but be specific. Let them know exactly what you saw and why you value it. And it doesn't have to get to be on the badge to feel good. Every single star message hits home for that person and helps them know that you really care and see them and value them. So please feel free to do that.